Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're on the PTR and we're taking a look at the reworked Raekor Barb. It's been quite difficult to get the footage for this and to test this. PTR for me in the EU, in the UK, has probably had about the worst connection I think that I've ever had on PTR, so it has been quite frustrating. But this build's quite a lot of fun. It feels quite different. So yeah, we're just going to run through it. In the background, we've got some footage doing, just trying to do some hundreds this morning. Sheet damage of under 1 million, so not very high. The gear is not really massively optimized. I just haven't had time to get all the bits and pieces. For instance, I've accidentally rolled this without putting the socket gift in it. We've got a non-ancient weapon here. You know, there's tons of room to go. You know, we could be getting this sheet damage up by a load. The gems are also not particularly high. 25 on the powerful, 59 on the Zais, 100 on the Bane of the Trap. So absolutely tons of headroom in this, and I think really you will probably be looking to do 105s, 110s, maybe even a little bit higher once everything is absolutely boxed off, because don't forget, next season we're going to have 125 level augments pretty much everywhere. But as always guys, before we jump in, go through the mechanics of it, thumbs up brightens my day. Hope you're excited for the next season. I know I am. This is incidentally the starting set for the Barb, which is quite interesting. You know, getting something new and shiny is always fun to play with. So I do think this is probably one of the meta choices for next season. This or Demon Hunter with the Marauders. I think it's Marauders, and Inner Monk for the Monk, the inner set. What I would say in terms of setting up, if you're going to start this one off, do bear in mind you've got 2 weapons to get, which is going to be a little bit fiddly. Braces also can quietly be a little bit fiddly. But overall, you know, Band of Might, very easy to get. Messerschmitt's Reaver, very easy to get. So not like the easiest thing to put together in terms of all the pieces, but also not terribly difficult. You will need a Rogue because you will be trying to do Crimsons. Let's go through Raekor. Now, the way Raekor works is it all revolves around Furious Charge, and basically you build up Furious Charge stacks up to 100, and then you do your Fury spending attack to deal more damage generally. So the 2-piece Furious Charge refunds if you hit one enemy. Great for the Rift Guardian. Great for if you blast an area of trash and it all melts, but it just so happens there's one thing with shielding on or whatever, then you do actually get your charges back if you're attacking a single enemy. 4-piece Furious Charge gains the effect of every rune and deals 1000% increase more damage. Not really a big deal. For every 1% life you were missing, damage of Ancient Spears increased by 2%. So the more that we take damage, the more damage we put out. So you'll see in the footage that the life goes down quite a bit. And yeah, it is a little squish to play, but the lower your life pool, the more DPS you can output, you know, is kind of the way it works. Now, the 6-piece hitting enemies with Furious Charge or Weapon Throw increases the damage of next Ancient Spear by 5,500%, causes it to release multiple spears from its target. This effect can stack, and each spear throw consumes a maximum of 5 stacks. So the idea is you chuck out your Ancient Spear, we're going for Boulder Toss, and it'll kind of like just do a nice big kind of spread out when it hits. So you build up your charges up to 100 and then you DPS. So at the start of the Rift, obviously you don't have any charges. You know, a ideal map coming into would be something with lots of enemies that you can kind of like, you know, build up charges very quickly and then output quite a lot of damage. If you start off with an elite, you might want to just simply skip it and move on just to build up your stacks. In terms of weapons, we have got the 300 Spear, so increase the damage of Weapon Throw and Ancient Spear by up to 200%. So this is an absolutely terrible. Pretty much you could not get a worse weapon than this, because the modifier is like super low. It's non-ancient, and I haven't even bothered rolling it, so it's got no damage, it's got no cooldown, it's got no area damage. It's basically just strength and resource cost reduction, and we've just left it. And same for this weapon on here. Again, you know, The modifier is maxed for the Ariat's Law, so weapon throw and ancient spear deal 200% damage. Weapon throw generates up to 25 additional fury based on the distance of the enemy hit. Generated fury can go above your maximum 200 cap. Ancient spear refunds 25 fury based on the distance hit, and resets your fury cap to its base maximum. Now, we're not actually taking weapon throw. This just totally revolves around ancient spear. I would like to have a little play with weapon throw, but this seems to work quite well. So again, we're going to have to see what condition this Raekor Barb goes in, whether any of these numbers get changed, whether the weapons get changed. But at the moment, doing just the ancient spear seems to be doing the trick. What else have we got? We've got the Crimsons, so obviously resource cost reduction, cooldown are beneficial because we get obviously damage reduction for resource cost reduction, we get increased damage for cooldown, obviously we get more cooldown and resource cost reduction natively in this set, which is great. We've got Immortix Brace. This will generally speaking go in your Bracer slot simply because Wrath of the Berserker gains every room, which is nice, and the Skullar's Salvation, this is going to go in the cube generally because obviously it rolls on a range, so it increases damage of Ancient Spear by 200%. If your Ancient Spear Boulder Toss hits 5 of your enemies, damage is increased by 100%. So again, super handy for the Rift Guardian, because obviously if you don't get a bunch of adds, then you're only hitting the one target. We've got the Band of Might for the huge 80% damage reduction, Barb Staple. We've got a Messerschmitt's Reaver. This helps us keep much nearer perma uptime on Wrath of the Berserker. It allows us to spam Threatening Shout Falter for extra damage. It also kind of helps with the Furious Charges, and it just means we can pretty much have access to our abilities, which is nice. We have got diamonds in the chest and in the trousers, obviously buffing up that toughness for us. My life pool, actually looking at it, is pretty pitiful at 600. It might be sensible to maybe invest some points into life. That's something that we could try. In terms of stats on the gear, Ancient Spear damage goes on your helm and on your boots. You can also obviously get crit chance, so ideal helm would be crit chance and Ancient Spear here. Just defensive stats in your chest, defensive stats in your belt. Trousers, if you do want to try and work weapon throw in, you can obviously roll weapon throw on trousers, and if you're not doing that, then obviously just defensive stats. Physical is the room we're going with, so we want physical and crit on the braces. We want physical double crit on the squirts. Again, a pretty rubbish squirts, but it is just, I found it really hard to even just find barb gear, and I do get bored reforging everything, so I tend to go for the goodie bags. For the shoulders, cooldown and area damage. For the gloves, double crit, area damage, cooldown I think would probably be the best. I haven't tried attack speed on anything, so that is something to bear in mind. We've got convention of elements here for the... What did I say? Look, it's just been so bad, this PTR, guys. What can I say? Cut! Oh, never mind. Yeah, conventional elements, massive spike damage on physical, which is good. It rolls around the elements, and obviously if you can time things with it, there are a couple of ways of doing extra damage in the build, which we'll go through in the passives, but the idea is that you can do yourself a max setup for damage, which, as I say, we'll talk about in a little bit. We have got the Ring of Royal Grandeur to make up the bonuses, and the Bane of the Trapped for a bit more damage. Zeiss, the further away we are, the more damage we do, which is nice. And we've just got powerful for when we kill an elite. So in the footage, my powerful will run out quite a bit. I also forgot to put cheat death on the follower, so I die a few times, and I'm a little confused as to why I've died, and it's simply because I forgot to put Guardian on instead of Inspire. Follow setup, always standard stuff. Flavor of Time, NEMS, pretty much the two staples. Cannot die token as well. I think that probably covers the gear. There aren't really any swaps, to be honest. You can do the Traveller's Pledge and Compass Rose, but for speed farming, Squirts is always going to win because you will find shield pylons, and that is basically double damage for 2 minutes when you get them. You will also sometimes be able to avoid some incoming damage So, you know, over the rift, even if you don't find a shield pollen, it might be worth 20-30% more damage. That's probably better than having to stand still with the Traveller's Pledge and Compass Rose. Albeit that would give you a little bit more toughness. Right, so looking at the skills, Battle Rage Bloodshed. This is a very much kind of momentum build. Like a lot of the Barb ones are, this feeds into this, so we basically explode our recent crits around the screen, which is great. Ancient Spear Boulder Toss costs 25 Fury plus all remaining Fury, so when we throw it, that's it, the Fury is dumped and emptied. And basically, we throw a giant boulder that expends all remaining Fury, deal 20% weapon damage for every point of Fury. So the more max Fury we have, the better. Again, I haven't capped mine out, so you are looking for max Fury in your stats. And then it's got like a 9-yard radius. Warcry Veteran's Warning. This is here for increased armor and dodge chance. Threatening Shout Falter. When you tag with this, it is extra damage, which is nice. Furious Charge, we get all of the runes. I just always have Merciless Assault on by default, so it doesn't matter which you pick. But we get damage, which doesn't really do anything. We get recharge time reduced by 2 seconds for every enemy hit. So we can Furious Charge into like a big bunch of stuff and then just perma-spam it. We get extra Fury, which is nice because obviously we want to build our Fury up before we dump it. Stamina, we've done... We freeze with this as well, so obviously that's great. You know, reduces incoming damage, activates Bane of the Trapped, albeit that would do it with its own aura, and then we can have up to 3 charges with Dreadnoughts. Wrath of the Berserker, again, we guessed all the runes. The only real ones are the 50% increased damage from Insanity, and also Striding Giants, reduced damage taken by 50%. So Wrath of the Berserker up, mucho good time. Wrath of the Berserker down, less damage, and you are squishier. Passives wise, Berserker Rage seems to make sense because the way Ancient Spear works, we're building our Fury up and then dumping it. So when we get to max Fury, we deal up to 25% extra damage. Rampage, we increase our strength as we kill, stacking up to 25%. So again, momentum based passive with the Battle Rage, which is momentum based as well. Boonable Kathos to try and keep nearer the perma uptime on Wrath of the Berserker, and then No Escape, increase the damage of weapon throws, Seismic Slam, and importantly Ancient Spear by 30% against enemies more than 15 yards away. So again, we've got the Zai. So the ideal damage kind of thing is you've tagged with Threatening Shout, you have moved far away for No Escape and the Zais, you are in an Oculus circle that the follower has generated, you're on your physical rotation, you've got the maximum amount of Fury possible, and then your Ancient Spear, and then you've got Berserker Rage activated, Rampage maxed out from wrecking stuff as you go, and that is an awful lot of damage. For Paragon, I have put obviously the points into Max Fury, as I say, you're looking to get that wherever, you know, if you could get some more Max Fury, that would be handy. Other than that, move speed, you're going to need strength. I possibly might be better putting a few points into Vitality here, just to try and see if we can get this up to like 800k. Offense, obviously crits, cooldown, attack speed, all important. All res is generally first from defense, life armor, life regen. Area damage is nice. Resource cost reduction we don't really care about. Life per hit and obviously pickup radius are nice. So that's the build. As I say, it's in an absolutely shocking state at the moment. Really poorly put together, except for a couple of, you know, this nice primal here and a few of those 125 augments. But bear in mind that if you got this all fully anciented out, you got the stats right, you got the 125 augments on it. As I say, this is 110 to 120 speed farm, I think pretty comfortably. Plus, the more Paragon that you actually pile on, over and above the 1,000, and with the augments, you know, you get that main stat up to like 20k plus. You're going to feel a lot tankier as well. You're going to not have quite as many like oh shit moments. But it is, I mean, ultimately it's a lot of fun to play, and it is different because, you know, you're charging around, which is cool. You've got a lot of charges, so you do feel quite nice, zippy and mobile. You're freezing everything, you're shouting, you know, you're then trying to work out how you can do the maximum amount of damage. You do have to think a little bit about playing it. You don't get me wrong, you can button mash this, but obviously the way it works with Ancient Spear Boulder Toss, because it dumps the Fury, if you just keep mashing buttons, if you've got no Fury, your Barb's going to get grumpy with you and say, listen man, I can't throw no Boulder Toss, I haven't got any Fury. But if you do want to try and play it correctly, then you're waiting for the physical, or you're mindful of your physical cycle, you're mindful of your Oculus, you're mindful of your distance, and you're mindful of your stacks. Obviously trying to get them up to 100, and each time you throw you consume 5, so you just need to try and keep that up. Dying is a pain in the arse for this build, because if you die your stacks reset at 0, and it's kind of like starting off, and starting off is the worst. So if that really did bother you an awful lot, you could dump Berserker Rage for a second, cheat Death, Nerves of Steel. I personally think that it's probably better to have the extra damage, because the follower can come in clutch with the 120-second cooldown cheat Death. But I mean, that's up to you. Will I start this build next season? I'm kind of tempted. It depends who I play with opening night. If we need a Barb, I'll happily take it. Z-Barb is a great way to build up Paragon. This is going to be quite powerful, and it's fun. It's nice to play something that isn't Whirlwind, because whenever we make a Barb every season, it's always Whirlwind is the best build. So it's really cool to see something different. Will it go exactly in this condition to live? Maybe. I kind of hope it maybe gets just a little bit of a knock up in power, but I think it's probably pretty close to being good in the right spot. But we'll have to see. Right, that's the guide, guys. Obviously speed guide rather than push. I think I'm going to wait to make the push guide on the season when we know exactly how it is that we're doing it. But other than that, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're staying safe. I'll be back with some more stuff just as soon as I can. Take it easy, guys. Peace.